Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really powerful, the trend of going back to school later in life. And spoiler alert, it's not about going back at all. It's about reinventing yourself, it's about growing, and it's about starting a brand new chapter. So let's find out why your 50s might just be the new freshman year.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Is there some kind of deadline for reinvention? A point where you're just done? A lot of people feel that way, but there's a huge movement happening right now that's proving the answer is a resounding no.
And I'm not talking about some tiny niche trend. At its recent peak in the US, adult learners, that's students aged 25 and over, made up nearly 40% of the entire student population. I mean, that's huge. So if this is a path you're thinking about, you are definitely not alone. You're part of a massive global shift.
Okay, to really make this tangible, let's follow a story that might sound pretty familiar. Let's picture a 52-year-old woman who decides, you know what, it's time. It's time to step back into the classroom.
This kind of decision is becoming more and more common. You know, that old, rigid idea of a career path that just goes in one straight line, that's fading. Fast. In the world we live in now, people are grabbing the chance to learn new skills and chase passions they've had for years, at literally every stage of life. This isn't a midlife crisis, it's a midlife renaissance.
But let's be real for a second. It's not all smooth sailing. We have to be honest about the hurdles, because facing them head-on is the only way to get over them. You might be feeling that intense pressure of trying to juggle it all. And let me tell you, that feeling is 100% valid.
And this is what that juggling act looks like in real life. For so many adult learners, a full-time job takes up over half their time. Then you add family and home life on top of that, and suddenly finding any time to study feels almost impossible. It's an incredibly intense balancing act, and yeah, it can feel completely overwhelming.
Wow. I mean, this quote just hits you, right? It's not just about the schedule, it's the emotional weight of it all. That little voice in your head, that nagging fear that you're not good enough, what we call imposter syndrome, that is a very, very real hurdle, especially for women going back to school.
So you can see how it all starts to stack up. It's never just one thing, is it? It's the money worries, the stereotypes people have, that internal voice of doubt, and even the practical fear of, am I going to be able to keep up with all this new tech? Each one is a challenge on its own. Put them all together, and it can feel like you're facing a brick wall.
Okay, but this is where the story completely flips. Because what if all that stuff, your age, your experience, what if those aren't liabilities at all? What if they're actually your secret weapon?
Just look at the difference in how you approach learning. Younger students are often there because it's the next logical step, and they're motivated by things like getting a good grade. But you, as an adult learner, you're there with a purpose. You're there to solve real-world problems. Your motivation comes from the inside. And all that life experience you have, that's not just some random backstory. It's the entire framework that gives everything you learn real meaning.
You know, there's actually a whole science dedicated to this. It's called andragogy. And it's built on the idea that adults learn best when they're in the driver's seat, when they can see how new knowledge applies directly to their lives. So, see, your way of learning isn't just different. It's a recognized, powerful, and effective methodology.
And let's just bust that old myth about aging brains right now. Your brain isn't declining, it's just shifting its priorities. In fact, your crystallized intelligence, that incredible library of knowledge and skills you've spent decades building, is at its absolute peak. That, right there, is your academic superpower. It lets you see connections and spot patterns that younger students just don't have the context for yet.
All right, so we know you've got these incredible strengths. Now, how do we put them to work? It's time to get practical and build a strategic toolkit for success, one that covers both your studies and the social side of things.
When you're juggling so much, managing your time is, well, everything. Here are 3 fantastic ways to tackle it. First, to figure out what to do now versus later, the Eisenhower matrix helps you sort tasks by what's urgent and what's important. Second, to get the biggest bang for your buck, the 80-20 rule is a lifesaver. It helps you focus on the 20% of your effort that will deliver 80% of your results. And finally, to stay focused without burning out, the Pomodoro technique is amazing. You just work in short 25-minute bursts. It's a game changer.
Okay, but with all this new info coming at you, how do you actually make it stick? Well, there's a simple 4-step process. First, you chunk it. Break big topics into smaller, bite-sized pieces. Then, you visualize it. Create mental pictures. Next, you use your superpower, association. You link the new stuff to things you already know inside and out. And finally, you use spaced repetition, reviewing the material over time to really lock it into your long-term memory.
Now, let's touch on something that can feel a little tricky, the social side. This feeling is so common. That age gap can feel like a canyon sometimes, and it's easy to feel awkward when your life experiences are worlds apart. But what if we looked at it in a completely different way? What if that age gap isn't a barrier at all? What if it's actually a bridge? You can offer wisdom about careers and life they're hungry for, and they can offer you a fresh perspective or help you navigate the latest tech. It becomes this amazing opportunity for mutual mentorship. Everybody wins. And you know what? This journey, it's so much bigger than just you. The transformation doesn't stop when you leave the classroom. So let's zoom out and look at the incredible ripple effect that your decision creates for everyone around you.
When you walk into that classroom, you are changing the entire dynamic, and for the better. You're the one who can say, you know, in the real world, this theory plays out like this. Just by being there, you are shattering stereotypes about age. You become a walking, talking role model for lifelong learning. And that kind of focused, passionate motivation, it inspires everyone in the room. And the ripple effect at home? It's huge. Your journey can completely transform your family's outlook on education. It creates this shared atmosphere of growth and makes it normal to always be learning, no matter your age. You're not just earning a degree for yourself, you're building a family legacy of curiosity.
So here's what it all comes down to. Your life experience isn't something to overcome. It is your greatest strength. Your motivation isn't just a nice-to-have. It is the most powerful fuel you've got. You're not just another student. You are the author, the director, and the star of your life's next great chapter. The only question left is, what will it be?